What is up, you guys? It is Patrick from PHS here doing an unboxing, first impression / little look at the Virtue Spire 3. This hopper retails for $200. If you get the graphic color lays on it, it is about $20 extra. A lot of them are back ordered right now, but I got one from my local pro shop. In the box, pretty nice packaging from Virtue. They put their logos and stuff all over the box. You get the Spire, obviously. You get a quick start manual to tell you how to hook it up with your phone, and that's pretty much it. It's very basic packaging. It is just a hopper. In the box, you get a Spire with the original lid, based on what color you get. I put the Caron stuff on here. That's about 45 bucks. So yeah, as far as the hopper, the things they changed were now that the system is completely, it separates at the middle and has a latch here so that these two frames open up. Basically, it's easier to clean this way. You still have the drive tray the same way. Pops out the same exact way the old Virtues did. And then it has smaller windows, but it actually holds more paint than the other one. It sits in between the middle of the Spire 200 and the Spire 260. It clips in. They removed the rather bright LED over here. There is that. It's not there anymore. What they do have is the LEDs here and here. And when you scroll through your programming modes the same way you did in the normal Spire, that's where they would light up. They took off the beeping sound that you got when you turned on the Spire. If I can show you right now, I think I have batteries in this. They took off that beep for whatever reason. I don't know if they didn't want people to get confused with the reload indicator being that same way, but I did email them and I asked them if they would ever put that back, and they said it may be available with future updates because you can hook the hopper up to your phone. You can do software updates or update the firmware. Any patches that they release, you don't have to send in your hopper anymore. I think that one of the main reasons they did that was because with the first generation problems with that original Spire, they had so many of them coming back, and they didn't really want to go through that again, so they want to be able to flash your board basically just straight at home. Now that's actually really cool. So as far as the reload indicator, basically the LEDs would show up here, but it's easier to demonstrate when the drive tray's out. You still have your same original 3 AA batteries right here. The thing they did change, however, is if you had some of the older Spires, I'll take out the drive tray in here as well, just to show you. If you look at the older drive tray for the Spire, put that over here. If you look at the G sensors, this one for the new Spire is completely coated in silicone. Now basically what that does is they claim that it makes it a little bit more sensitive, because if you shoot a Lux Ice, a CS1, the Squish 2.0, some of these guns are just too smooth for the G sensor to really pick up shooting. So the problem is you can't get up to the 12.5, 13, 14 BPS because of the fact that the hopper just doesn't pick it up every time. Now it does pick it up. You can still feed about 10, 10 and a half, which is fine for tournaments. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is kind of annoying that knowing that your hopper can't feed to what your gun could shoot. Another thing they did change is now their button is further down on the bottom here. You program it based on this little button right here is the same thing that goes for this white button right here. Those are the same button on this, and I'll show you the same way to program it. It's the exact same thing, same board and everything. The only thing is there's an extra mode now for when you update your firmware. It shows you how to do that online and on your instruction card when you get the hopper. For the first release of these, I think they said if you bought one before November 30th, I don't know that that matters, but if you register your Spire online before January 1st, I don't know if this video will be posted before then, they were going to send out free color kits. You just had to pay for shipping, which is actually really cool. So when those launch, they will come out. Stock with the Spire 3, you also get a spring ramp. This spring ramp comes the same way as the other one, but it's a little bit bigger, and it also is the main reason that the reload indicator works. Basically, this works by turning it on, and you'll see that your light LEDs are red, and when you load paint in there, they turn blue. And then as soon as you're shooting, the spring ramp goes up. That's the G sensor. And you get a beep. This beep, when you first get the hopper, is actually turned off. The way to turn it on is you turn on the hopper and you hold down the anti-jam button, and eventually it'll beep, and then you turn it on, and then you can turn it off. Also in the settings mode, I won't strictly go into the settings until I make another video, but you can change how many beeps it is, how loud, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to put this Spire back together really quick, and then we'll compare it to the other Spire a little bit more. There we go. Of course, can't get these in properly. There we are. And they close. Some of the complaints with the Spire 3 is people were a little bit worried about that latch breaking. I don't think it will. I have not used this hopper yet extensively. I've shot paint through it, but I haven't actually taken it to the field and used it yet, so I don't know if that's going to be an issue. I'd imagine the pro players will give their feedback on that, of which a lot of them are using the TFX. So I don't know how many people are actually going to be using the Spire, if they are going to sponsor some teams, and we'll see how they cope with, you know, the rugged and like destruction of pro paintball play. Usually that's where things go through the ringer. You really see what kind of problems guns have, like the Prophecy Z2. A lot of teams we used to use it, and the nose cones are flying off, sort of, they get shot, the tab gets shot, and then, you know, it falls out and you lose all your paint, or you go dive in a snake and the loader pops open, you lose all your paint. This is going to be a little bit of a comparison right here. I don't know how well you're going to see it. As you can see, the Spire 3 is a lot more narrow, and it's a little bit longer than the Spire 200. I don't have the 260 shell. Basically, the only thing different about the 260 shell is a little bit fatter, and it's a little bit like taller. The Spire Z2 is one of the fatter hoppers. It's similar shape to the Halo, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more contoured on the sides. It doesn't hold quite as much paint as the Spire either, so a lot of that is wasted space, honestly. As far as the programming modes, we'll go through those just really quickly. There's going to be more in the review and the programming videos, but as far as just like first impressions looking at it, in order to go into the editing mode, you hold down this button and you turn it on, and then you release that button, and now you can scroll through all your modes the same way. It's the same exact board. The only thing different is that pulsing light. That's the, if you look online, it'll show you the instructions to update your firmware. Not a whole lot's changed, but that's pretty much the Spire 3, a little bit quick overview. They did make it easier to change these. I'm not actually gonna. Honestly, this is probably a stronger, more rugged design, but I really don't think this is an easier way to change it. It could just be that mine's not broken in, but it took about 10 minutes to get this damn speed feed on because this clip hasn't been broken in yet, so it's extremely tough, and I don't want to break anything. So as far as getting that in, although you do just lift it up, and there's a little tab here you can see on this hopper, it's just a little piece of plastic, and you just pop them out, stick it back in. It's kind of like a buckle. I don't know how well those are going to hold up in the long run, but we'll see, I guess. One more thing to mention with the drive cone is, so along with the G sensor now being more sensitive, they have made this easier to get off. Oh, that's fun. This is magnetic now, so it's extremely easy to get off. It's also a little bit faster when you first start. You know, the same way. When you first start, it gets going a lot quicker than the old Spire. And some of them had problems with the first boards, you know, spinning away. That's a lot slower. And I have not had any issues with the pulsating, similar to the original Spires had. As far as I shoot it on my CS1, it works perfectly fine. It's always picking up the shots. It's working great. So we'll have to see extensively once a review comes out. But as far as first impressions, I'm very impressed. I like it a lot. And I think it's going to be a great hopper in the long run. Thanks, guys, for watching. This has been Patrick from PHS.